Okay, we got sound effects on her skill. God. Son? Welcome all returning and new proxies. Today I have a very special treat for us, as we'll be able to showcase and give my first impressions on Qingyi, the new S-rank lightning stun unit as part of the public security faction alongside Qingyi. Hoyo has graciously given me access to the creator experience server, which means everything shown in this video is still subject to change on launch. And I do want to warn, I'm not the most meta player ever. However, I do want to provide some good team comps and builds with free-to-play options in this video as well. But again, since everything is subject to change, these builds might change on launch. But without further ado, let's get started. Another disclaimer is that a lot of the sound effects for Qingyi in this build of the creator experience was actually missing. I think the only things that actually properly had sound were her EX skill and the chain attack. So unfortunately, there will be a lot of actual sound effects missing from her kit, but that will obviously be fixed on launch. So starting off with her basic attack there is a couple special properties with Qingyi's basic attack. Her full string is a 4-hit combo that looks like this. But as you saw when she slaps the ground like crazy, if you actually continuously spam the attack button during the 3rd hit of her basic attack string, she will continuously do that attack for as long as you are pressing the button. So as you can see here, it just continues going and going and going as I am continuously clicking. Now, one thing that's very special about Qingyi's basic attack is she's one of the very few characters in the game where dodging or doing a skill will actually not interrupt her spot in the basic attack string. So as you can see, as we are doing this 3rd basic attack, if I dodge and then go right back into attacking, I'm right back into the 3rd basic attack. If I EX skill and then start attacking, then I immediately start going right back into that 3rd basic attack. Now, one other thing about the basic attack is whenever you start that 3rd hit, if you immediately let go, you'll see she just slams the ground. However, if you continue pressing, there'll be a little flash on Qingyi. And if you release after that flash, she'll do a little spin up and slam down. Kind of similar to the way that she does her skill. But the animation is a little bit different. Now, that does do more damage, and it does also apply more days since it is hitting more times during that release. But now that we have her basic stuff of her basic attack out of the way, let's get into her flash connect voltage. Now, if you see underneath her profile, there is that little bar where there is a little mark at the 75 mark on that bar. So as she does her basic attacks, then actually I'll go ahead and drain this, that way you can see. But as she does her basic attacks, that bar will accumulate flash connect voltage. Now, as you see, once it goes past that little marker at 75, it does start to glow yellow, and her weapon glows yellow as well. When it reaches that mark, she enters the flash connect state. During this state, every 1% past 75% will increase Qingyi's basic attack damage and her daze by a certain amount. Her damage will increase 1% by every percent, and her daze will increase 0.5% for every percent. Meaning, if you are at 100% flash connect voltage, then you will be getting a 12.5% daze increase and a 25% basic attack damage increase. Now, that only stays if you have it at 100%. The moment you hold down her basic attack, then she'll initiate an enhanced version, which will drain all flash connect voltage for a 5-hit combo that does do a lot of days. And that combo looks like this. Just like that. So it is a very, very sick combo, does a lot of days. But if you want to keep doing that 3rd basic attack, you're going to be benefiting from not using the charged basic attack skill to continue having that 25% damage increase and 12.5% daze increase. Now, if you see on the hold basic, when she does that little back dash and she spins the staff behind her, then if you release that button, And I think it may actually, it may auto-dodge if you're charging the attack. I haven't really been able to test that too much, but it is kind of hard to get with the in the training room. But I did get some footage. I'll throw that up on screen here. But if you release that finishing blow, that finishing move on that hold basic, then she will actually automatically dodge during that attack and finish with the actual blow. This is similar to Qingyi, how she can kind of dodge while doing her basic attack combo. So she's very swift in that term. And if you do actually manage to get that perfect dodge off with this finishing blow, you do actually get an added benefit onto her passive, which we'll go ahead and get into now. Unfortunately, the passive does not show on the enemy or herself as a buff in this build. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to read how it actually works in the description, but you won't be able to see it on screen on the UI elements right now. But her passive is called Eternal Seasons. Now, I do currently, as I'm explaining this, I do have her at M6, but I did get a bunch of gameplay of her at M0 all the way up through M6, so I will explain. It's not actually 3% here, it's 1.5%. So when Qingyi lands a finishing strike on an enemy with her basic attack, Enchanted Moonlit Blossoms, it will apply 5 stacks of subjugation to the enemy, stacking up to 20 times. Each stack of subjugation increases the target's stun damage multiplier by 1.5% for each rush attack during basic attack Enchanted Moonlit Blossoms. The finishing strike will apply an extra stack of subjugation. If perfect dodge is triggered when using finishing strike, it directly applies 10 stacks of subjugation. Now, when applying subjugation to normal or elite enemies, so basically anything but bosses, the applied stacks are doubled, meaning if you are able to get that perfect dodge attack off that finishing strike, since that is going to double on normal or elite enemies, you will immediately have max 20 stacks of subjugation on that enemy. Now, when a target is stunned, once they are recovered from that stun state, all stacks of subjugation that they have are completely reset back to 0, and you will have to stack those back up. And of course, she does have the bonus effect where if there's one attack unit in the team or of the same faction, then Qingyi's basic attacks are deal 20% increased days. I know it just says basic attacks, but it is, I did test it, it is actually just Qingyi's only. Her basic attacks will deal 20% increased days. If Qingyi's impact is greater than 120, each point over increases her attack by 6, up to a maximum of 600. Which means if you do want to get Qingyi's, if you do want to benefit from this to the full potential of getting that extra 600 attack, you need to have 220 impact, which is very easy to do if you do have her signature W engine, but we'll get more into that later into the video. But let me go ahead and show you her dodge attack, parry attack, and ultimate. Qingyi's dodge attack. Very sick. It's basically the end of her that little flash state in the auto attack string. This one right here, she basically just does that again. Now, for her parry, she does basically do the finishing strike. That little, like, slam down how she kicks it, and it does the little electric volt there, which is very, very, very sick. And I love to see it. Now, for her skill, when you don't have enough energy, you can see it is kind of just a little staff spin and slam down. It does knock them up a little bit, which, of course, you can cancel out of to keep them in the air, to do juggle combos and such, if that is something that you truly care about. But whenever she has full energy, there's actually 2 options that she can do. One is just press it, and you can see she does a multi-hit where she spins into the air and slams down. Very, very sick. That's one of the things that does have the sound effects, and the sound effects are very, very sick. Or if you do have enough energy, you can actually hold the skill down, and she will spin a couple more times in the air, dealing more damage and more days as well. So as you can see, she does about 2 more spins in the air, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison. This is press and hold next to each other. Now, for her ultimate, incredibly sick, and I'm sure it'll have very similar sound effects to her chain attack whenever that's actually added into the game. But let me go ahead and show you her chain attack as well. It's so sick, dude. The animation of her chain attack is so cool. She quickly goes around and does a bunch of lightning strikes, and then at the end she slams it closed because, as you know, as I'm sure you could see in certain aspects of her kit, this little staff, I don't know what you would actually call this, but I'm just going to call it the staff. It does divide into 3 different sections, which is very, very sick. Now, one thing that I do want to show off before we actually get into the Mindscape or the Eidolons or whatever you would like to call them in this game, I do want to showcase the DP assist with Qingyi with a couple of the other characters, just because the DP assist does look very, very sick, and it is still in the build of 1.1, albeit it does seem to be a little bit harder to pull off this time around, but the DP assist is still there. If you don't know what the DP assist is, this is a mechanic that I found in CBT2. I'll have a video linked in the description on how you actually perform the DP assist, but this is just a little showcase of what that looks like with a bunch of other characters. Now, for her Mindscapes, like I said, I do have her at M6 currently as I'm recording this, but I did get a bunch of gameplay through M0 to M6. But her M1 is very good. It is when Qingyi enters combat, flash connect voltage is instantly restored to maximum, and the accumulation rate is increased by 30%. So the accumulation rate that you were seeing was with this M1. I will have I'll show you on screen right now the accumulation rate at M0 compared to with that M1. It is significantly quicker with that M1, especially when it comes to using the EX skill. But also on her M1, when using her basic attack, Enchanted Moonlit Blossoms, if Flash Connect voltage is at its maximum, the attack will reduce the defense of the enemy it hits by 15%, and Qingyi's crit rate against that enemy will increase by 20% for 15 seconds. Now, the crit rate to me doesn't really seem that important, especially because I'm going to be building her for a stun, so once I stun the enemy, I'm just going to be going over to my attack unit anyway. But if you do want Qingyi to kind of go a more DPS route, I think that's going to be really good. But again, I'm not super meta, so if I'm wrong on that, and that is going to be huge for even stunning, then let me know. However, the defense is going to be huge, because reducing the defense is going to be a major benefit once you actually swap off and stuff like that. So now for her M2, each stack of subjugation, this is actually a major buff with the M2. Each stack of subjugation in core passive Eternal Seasons increases the stun damage multiplier to 133% of its original value. Now, earlier when I said that it was not 3% but 1.5%, that is where this increase is coming from. So at max subjugation stacks at M0, it is a 30% stun damage increase. However, with this M2, you are able to get up to basically a 70% stun damage increase while having her max subjugation stacks, which is a big difference from 30% to 70%. And that is not including the fact that you do also increase her days dealt by the target by 15%. Now, her M3 is just the normal talent increase level by 2. Now, her M4, to me, honestly doesn't really seem like that big of a thing, like nothing to really strive for and go out of your way to pull for. It is a nice little benefit though. Upon entering or exiting the Flash Connect state, you will gain a shield equal to 10% of Qingyi's max HP. If a previous shield is still active, when the shield refreshes, she will instead generate 5 energy. This energy generation effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. So this is going to be really nice to just keep that energy up and make sure that you can EX skill whenever you can for extra days and stuff like that. But since it can only trigger every 10 seconds and you will be immediately swapping off of her to your attack once you actually stun the unit, which will be very fast because Qingyi does an incredible amount of stun. To me, this M4 doesn't really seem crazy, but her M6 is very good. The interrupt level of basic attack Enchanted Moonlit Blossoms is greatly increased, and the crit damage is increased by an additional 100%. When Qingyi hits an enemy with her basic attack Enchanted Moonlit Blossoms, the target's resistance to all attribute damage is reduced by 20% for 15 seconds. So this is good for two reasons. One, if you do want to build her as a sort of sub DPS or full DPS, then you can do that significantly better with her M6 due to the fact that the crit damage is increased by an additional 100% on her enhanced basic attack. But this also allows her to be a very, very good support as well, technically, with the fact that it is going to reduce the attribute damage, all attribute damage, by 20% for 15 seconds. Now, this is going to be massive paired with her W engine drive, which we'll get into a little bit, but her W engine drive does also increase the damage of her allies. So having that along with the M6 means that once you actually stun the unit and swap over to your attack unit is going to be doing a crazy amount of damage. Now, obviously that is the M6 with the W engine, so most people are not going to be able to do that. Okay, now let's get into her W engine drive. So her W engine drive is called Ice Jade Teapot, and obviously it does increase the base attack as normal on the base stat, but the advanced stat is it does increase the impact, which is significantly going to help you reach that 220 impact for the extra damage that you get on her passive. This at max at level 50. I tried to keep it at level 50 because most people are only able to get up to level 50 right now, but it does increase the impact by 15.8%. Now, the actual passive on the W engine is when a basic attack hits an enemy, gain 1 stack of Terrific. Each stack of Terrific increases the user's impact by 0.7%, stacking up to 30 times, and lasting for 8 seconds. So, at max 30 stacks, you will be getting a 21% extra impact with max stacks, and those stacks do last for 8 seconds. The duration of each stack is calculated separately. Now, once upon acquiring Terrific, if the equipper possesses stacks of Terrific greater than or equal to 15, all squad members' damage is increased by 20% for 10 seconds. That passive effect does not stack. Now, I know it might seem like it will take a little bit to get those stacks, but if you remember, her third basic attack hits so many times, so quickly, and all of those hits do count as a basic attack. So you will be able to get not only the 30 stacks of Terrific from her W engine for that extra 21% impact at max stacks, but comparing that, adding that with the fact that you're getting the 20 stacks of subjugation on the enemy for that extra 25% damage and 12.5% daze, this just goes together with her kit so well, which makes sense because it is her signature W engine drive. But a good free-to-play option if you are going the stun route is going to be the Precious Fossilized Core. The reason this is going to be such a big free-to-play option is the fact that you can buy these from the from Box Galaxy, so you are able to easily get this up to 5-star to increase the actual passive on it, but it also increases the impact percent for as you rank it up. But when the target's HP is no lower than 50%, the equipper inflicts 10% more daze, and no lower than 75% HP, that is increased by another 10%. So as long as you are good at the game and dodging, then you will be getting an extra 20% daze, and that is at base rank of this W engine. But if you continue grinding, now able to 5-star this W engine, then you will be getting a 32% daze increase, which again, this is going to be a very good free-to-play option for the stun build. Now, if you do want to have Qingyi go a sort of DPS build, it's actually going to be the Steam Oven. Now, the reason why this is such a good option for a free-to-play DPS build is because not only are you going to be getting the 16% increase on the impact through the passive, as every 10 energy accumulated, the equipper's impact is increased by 2%, stacking up to 8 times. So you can get a 16% impact bonus off of this, which is huge because that will allow you to keep getting the attack from her passive. But the biggest thing is that it does give her the energy regen, so you will be able to do her EX skill a lot more often, getting more damage out, and also getting more days out as well. But this is a good free-to-play DPS option just because you have that energy regen, so you can kind of do your skill a lot more often. Now, in terms of the actual disk drives, if you are doing a a stun build, which I do recommend doing. If you build characters the way that they were originally intended, they are cracked, but obviously you can build them however you want. So if you are going to go the stun build, I do recommend doing the 4-piece Shock Star Disco. That will increase your impact by 6% for the 2-piece and also increase your daze by 20% on the basic attacks, attached attacks, and dodge counters if you have the 4-piece set equipped. This is going to be huge because, again, it does increase the impact, which will help you get to that 220 impact for the attack on her passive. For the 2-piece, the extra 2-piece that you have left, I would definitely do the Thunder Metal because this does increase her electric damage by 10%. Or you could also go with, because you'll be getting the attack from her passive, you could always go with the Hormone Punk set because that will increase her attack by 10%, and that is going to be increasing the extra attack that you get from her passive by 10% as well on this once you actually have that attack on the character. So obviously for the 6th slot, I do 100% recommend getting the Impact main stat, which shouldn't be too hard to get, especially because of the fact that recently we have been getting a couple options to get the main stat selector. So you can use that to get this, but this is going to be huge because obviously at max rank this does give you an extra 18% impact, and with her W engine, that's basically all you need. Once you level up her skills and if you have her W engine, if you just get this with the impact, then you are going to guarantee the fact that obviously she's at 190 now, but with her W engine she is getting that massive 21% extra impact at max stacks. So once you have those stacks off her W engine, then she reaches the 220 basically almost like to the dot. So again, that's going to be a very good impact option. Now, if you were going to be doing a DPS build, then what I would recommend doing is basically just swapping these two sets. So having a 4-piece Thunder Metal because you will be doing a lot more lightning damage and shock damage as well. And obviously the equipper's attack is increased by 28% on that 4-piece. And then having the 2-piece of the Shock Star Disco is going to be great because it is still increasing that impact by 6%, giving you additional attack from her passive still as well. Now, as for teams, I will say Qingyi is 100% incredibly flexible. Okay, so if I move my camera down here, you will see that because of the fact that Qingyi gets the stack if there's just an attack unit or of the same faction, then basically you can fit her into a ton of different team comps. For example, this is going to be a really good one for people since a lot of people are already running Nicole, Jiwen, and Anbi. So basically you would just be replacing Anbi with Qingyi. Rest in peace, Anbi. We loved you. We still love you. But yes, this is going to be a very good team because you're basically just going to have to build one character for this, which is Qingyi, and then replace one character, and everyone is getting their passive off of that as well. But you can also go back into another team that everyone has been using, basically replace her with in Lycan's spot. So everyone is still going to be getting their passive increase here because Qingyi gets it because Ellen is in there and she's an attack. So Kaku and Ellen get it because there are 2 ice units on the team. And this is going to be huge because Sokaku does also increase the attack through her kit. So technically, if you get the max attack benefit from both Qingyi and Sokaku, then you're getting a 1600 attack increase on Qingyi. I believe if everything is all set and done on that. But again, like I said, you can fit her into a bunch of different team comps. So another really good one is going to be Qingyi, Lucy, and Soldier because again, everyone gets their passive. Lucy also gives an increase to team members, and if you have Qingyi's W engine, then she'll also be giving an attack increase to Soldier 11. And again, like I said, Qingyi is just very, very flexible. You can get her in a bunch of different teams, including a mono electric team as well. But what's going to be great with the other teams is the fact that since you are still able to get everyone's passive up, and Qingyi is lightning, for example, the Lucy and Soldier team, you will be able to proc Disorder on that team. Same thing with Sokaku and Ellen. You'll be able to proc Disorder there. And obviously with Nicole and Jiwen as well, you'll be able to do Disorder. So Qingyi can basically fit into any team comp. There is no worry there. Now, in my opinion, I definitely think that she is worth pulling just because I love her character. However, I will say if you do think that there are characters in the future like Jane Doe that you are looking forward to and you already have Anbi built up, then I will say I would probably skip, especially if you are not, especially if you are free to play on this game. I personally think that you should always pull for the character if if you think the character itself is cool, not just meta-wise. But of course, meta-wise, if you do already have Anby built and you think that there are characters coming out in the future that you want, then I would probably not pull for Qingyi this patch. Wait for a rerun or something like that. But personally, I will definitely be pulling for Qingyi because the amount of days that she does is incredible, like actually insane. So I will 100% be pulling for her to make it easier in in-game modes like Hollow Zero and Seiyu Defense and stuff like that. But that's basically it for my first impressions. Now, at the end of this video, I will have the my first reaction to Qingyi's animations and kit and stuff like that, because technically my first reaction wasn't the update stream, but was when I got into the Grid Experience server. So I'll have that here at the end. But for those that don't want to watch that first time reaction to her animations, let me know what you guys think of Qingyi, and let me know if you will be pulling for her. If so, or if not, tell me why. But I think Qingyi is absolutely insane. Very, very cool. And without further ado, let's get into the reaction, but I will see you guys in the next one. Fully look like baby. I'm so excited. Her weapon looks so cool. Okay. I'm gonna disable him first. Excuse me, sir. You're disabled from moving. Okay, so you can see the bar in the top left. Oh my god. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Oh, what in the world just happened? Why are the sound effects missing? No. No. Okay, so if you hold, she just does that little thing. And you can stop. This is our basic attack string, so you can stop this at any time, which will... Oh, shit! Oh, okay, so if you release, then she'll do this thing. But if you hold it, then she charges up the... Okay, that is crazy. Oh, no, you have to do this for a certain amount of time for her to do this attack. But if you stop it earlier, then she'll just slam down. But you can see a little flash right there. That's when you know. Ah, okay. Interesting. And then if you hold it, then she does a whole like basic sequence into that. That's so sick. Ooh! Okay, we got sound effects on her skill. God damn, son. What in the world? Yo, chill out. Oh, cool. Oh, that was sick. She like threw it into the ground. Okay, and then her dodge. Oh my god, that's... Bro, her DP assist is gonna go crazy. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, that is so sick. Okay, hold on. I gotta see her DP assist. That's crazy. That is a crazy ass pose. I'm not even gonna lie to you.